Hey everybody, what's up you guys? Oop. Okay, hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to my TikTok. My name is Nicole and I'm a person in recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015 and today we're going to talk about pregnancy and addiction. It is a hard topic for me to talk about, but we are going to talk about it today because it needs to be talked about. I know there's a lot of ladies out there who are struggling with active addiction and are pregnant. And I want to be here to support those women and let them know that they're not alone, because they're not. Hey Raina, how you doing? So y'all come on in. If you guys don't mind, share this video with a friend. Share this video over on TikTok. Facebook. Share this video with somebody that you know that might need to see it. And yeah, we're going to get started. You guys are welcome to ask me any questions. Anything that you want to ask. I'm an open book. I am not a person who keeps, secrets. I've shared my whole life here on social media, so can't go back now. Can't turn back now, baby. We're already in too deep. So you guys come on in. I'm going to grab some water and then we're going to get started. So if y'all don't mind, greet your neighbor and let everybody know you're here. Share the video. Let me get something to drink. Okay. All right, I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. I get that. Get my water bottle filled up. Pregnancy and addiction. Just so you guys know, today I went and walked with my little boy. We went to the park, and I probably walked a good 2 to 3 miles. And so I'm going to try and do that every single day. Just go out and walk. So wish me luck on that. I feel like for me, implementing small, healthy changes is going to be something that'll work out for me. Small, healthy changes and eating at a calorie deficit. All right. Hey, Lisa, how are you doing? Oh, hey, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm so glad she went into a program. Hey, Shift Happens. What's up? That's the hardest thing to do is to swallow your pride and ask for help, you guys. So congratulations to your daughter. I'm so proud of her. No, don't be heartbroken. No, baby, I'm not pregnant. Hell no. Okay. So, but we're going to talk about pregnancy and addiction tonight. So, a little bit about my story, you guys. For those of you guys that don't know, I was addicted to drugs for 13 years. I started using when I was 17 years old. I thought, it ain't going to be nothing. It won't hurt me, right? It's just fun. I'm just relaxing. I'm just having a good time. And my just fun turned into a 13-year-long, strung out, dragged down, homeless, prison, trade my body, whatever I could do to get drugs, addiction. And so it wasn't fun like I thought it was going to be, So, I didn't think I could get pregnant. Paul, I'm leaving Sunday at noon. I'm leaving. I'll be there Sunday night at 8 o'clock. When I got pregnant, I was totally caught off guard, you guys. I had an abortion when I was 24 years old. I was in my active addiction and I had gotten pregnant and I had an abortion, and ever since then, I just didn't, something was not right, and I didn't think I could have kids. And so I wasn't very careful. I was actively using drugs, and so I wasn't thinking about, whether or not I could get pregnant or not. And in 2013, I got pregnant with my little boy, Nathaniel. My little boy is 6 years old. He'll be 7 this July. And I remember the day that I found out that I was pregnant. My father-in-law had came in and he said, "Hey, are you pregnant?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, yeah, you are. You're glowing." And I was like, "Man, no, I'm not. Don't say that, you know?" And a week went by. A week went by and I went and bought a pregnancy test. And lo and behold, he was right. I was pregnant. I was pregnant. So I called my boyfriend, Neil. He's my husband now. And he came home and we went down to Planned Parenthood and took another pregnancy test. And it came back positive. I was in active addiction. And I was thinking, how am I going to do this? I've got to get sober. And so I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'll get sober, right? We met with my mother and father-in-law, and I said, you know, if y'all want me to, I won't have this baby. I don't want everybody to be mad at me. I was so afraid that Neil's parents were going to be mad at me and they were going to hate me. And they were like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're going to have this baby. It's going to be okay. We will help you guys get on your feet. And they were so supportive. And so I started trying to white knuckle it. I stayed ashamed. Instead of reaching out and getting help for my drug addiction, which I knew I had a drug addiction, I had already been to 5 treatment centers and prison once, I didn't reach out and I tried to do it on my own. My pride and my ego and my guilt and my shame kept me from getting help. And so I tried to do it cold turkey, white knuckling it. Well, needless to say, that didn't happen. I could not get sober. And I used methamphetamine through my whole pregnancy. Now, there would be times where I would take some pills or do some Roxys, but for the most part, I was on IV methamphetamine through my whole pregnancy. I don't know if you guys saw Dr. B's video today that he uploaded on his TikTok, but he was talking about the effects of methamphetamine on a woman and her baby when she's pregnant. I want you guys to understand the shame that I felt every single day using drugs and knowing that I was pregnant. Every single day I thought about it. Every single day I would say, okay, today's the day I'm going to stop. And I would try to stop, and then I would end up starting again a couple days later. And it was just a vicious cycle, that whole 9 months. By the time I hit 7.5 months pregnant, I finally started to show, because I had been using methamphetamine so much that I was so skinny you couldn't even tell I was pregnant for the longest time. And I was so upset. I was so upset because I was like, I remember looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, I can't see myself. I can't see. Why am I not showing? And this is how delusional I was in my mind. You can't even see my belly. I would ask my husband, do I look like I'm pregnant? And I would cry because you couldn't tell. I was 6 months pregnant. You couldn't even tell I had a stomach. And I would cry, and I was delusional. I was that delusional, you guys. Of course you couldn't tell that I was pregnant. Of course you couldn't tell. I was shooting dope. I was shooting methamphetamine 24/7, 7 days a week. Hold on, you guys. I'll talk to y'all about energy in just a second, but I ain't got none either. And so I was shooting dope. Of course, I was skinny. It is so hard for me to talk about this because I know the judgment. I know what you're thinking. I know what's going through your mind right now. I know it. You're like, how could she do that to her baby? I would never do that. You don't deserve your child. He should have been taken away from you forever. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. And let me just tell you this. There's nothing any one of you can say to me that will make me feel worse than I already have made myself feel. Because I know. I was in active addiction, pregnant with my son, and I was unable to provide him safety. I was unable to provide him with the proper nutrients. I could not do it. I was going to my doctor's appointments, and somehow, I don't know how, I was able to slip through the cracks and them not realize that I was high as fuck on drugs. I had the same doctor for the whole time I was pregnant. I went in, they would have me pee and everything. And for that whole 9 months, you guys, I never got questioned. I never got accused. Nothing. It was the scariest thing because I knew what I was doing was hurting my child. I knew what I was doing was hurting my unborn baby, but at the same time, I could not stop myself. I mean, what was going to make me stop? I had never been able to stop. So why was a baby going to make me stop? You know what I'm saying? And I wish I could sit here and say, oh, I got pregnant and I stopped using drugs and I had my baby and I was the best mom. You guys don't understand. I think about it every single day. I think about how I failed my son and how I failed to protect him and how it's my fault. He got taken away from me because of my addiction. Nobody else's fault but my own. And I take full responsibility for that. 100% full responsibility. I would never, ever not take responsibility. That's why I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that my son got taken from me. I am so grateful. And I'm going to tell you how that happened, but it's not what you think. July 4th of 2014 is when I gave birth to my little boy. He was a firecracker baby. I remember being so proud. It was July 3rd morning. July 3rd morning at 5 a.m. And I had been up all night high on methamphetamine. I had been shooting, and then I took a capsule full of meth that evening. And at 5 a.m., I was sitting Indian style upstairs in the bedroom beside the bed on the floor. And I was leaning over and I was coloring with some markers. And all of a sudden, this pain just started shooting across my lower back. This pain like somebody was taking a knife or an ice pick and just jabbing it and dragging it across my lower back. Jabbing it and dragging it across my lower back. And so I got up. And at the time, my mother and father-in-law still lived in this house with us. So I walked over to my mother-in-law's room, and I said, Barb, wake up, there's something going on. I don't know what, I think I'm going into labor. I think I'm having the baby. And so my mother-in-law was like, it's okay, just relax and call Neil and let him know. And so I called my husband, and he said, I'll be there. You know, I'm going to get off work and I'll come and we'll go to the hospital. And so by the time my husband got home, it was about 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 a.m. And he came and got me, and we got in the car and we went to the hospital. Now, mind you guys, I was high on methamphetamine. I had been up for 3 days. So I was just all jittery and my mouth was moving you could tell I was under the influence. They took my pee, they put me up on the stirrups, and they went to check me to see how far I was dilated. I wasn't even dilated to 2, y'all. I wasn't even dilated to 2. Hey, Shane. And so they said, you know, you're not dilated enough. You can hang out here and we'll keep you comfortable. And I was like, no. I cannot stay here. I can't stay here. No. And so somehow, some way, I talked the nurses into letting me go home and just do it at my house. And they were like, okay, come back later on. Yes, my mother and father-in-law knew that me and my husband were using drugs. But what would happen was, like I was saying in the beginning, is I would sober up and I would do good for like a week. I mean, sometimes 2 weeks, you guys. Maybe even a little bit longer than that. And then I would fall off. And then I would get back on track, you know? And so they were fighting, trying to help me to be a better person, and fighting and trying to help me and my husband be better, you know, be better. And we were in that point where we wanted to be better, but we just didn't know how. We didn't know how to get sober. We would get sober and we wouldn't do anything. We wouldn't go to therapy. We wouldn't go to meetings. We would just lock ourselves up in the house and never leave. And that, you can't do that. And it didn't work. It didn't work. So me and Neil left the house and we came back home and my labor began. I called my mom, and my mom had been flying in because she knew she was going to fly in and be here on the 4th. And so we had already planned it because I knew my due date was going to be either the July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. That's what the doctor had said. And so my mom flew in from New York to be with me. So my mom was here. Tara was here. Y'all will hear about her in a second. And the labor was on and popping. Now, let me just tell you guys something. Being high on methamphetamine and in labor, it was like every nerve in my body, everything was heightened. And so I was walking around this whole house yelling, screaming, squatting down, screaming, ah, ah, sitting on chairs, holding, ah, getting in the hot tub, laying in the hot tub, then getting out of the hot tub, then getting back in the hot tub, then laying on chairs, then getting on the ground, then... I mean, it was just the worst pain I've ever had in my life. My husband was rubbing my back. My mom was rubbing my back. They were beating my back so hard because it was hurting so bad that I had bruises across my back. Okay? Because it was just so much pain. But when they would hit it, it felt good. Well, by 8 p.m. that night, I had dilated to 8.5. My husband stuck his hand inside of me and he was like, I feel something. I feel a head. No, my son is perfect. Absolutely 100% perfect. But you got to listen to the story, you guys. You got to listen to the story, okay? My husband felt the head and he said, we got to go. There's the babies coming. My mom said, let's go. And so we all jumped in the car. Me, Tara, my mom, Neil, and rode to the hospital, right? I'm sitting there, I'm screaming, ah! And my belly has dropped to the ground. It is sitting so low that it's like about to hit the ground. And so I get to the hospital and I'm like, I'm 8.5 centimeters dilated. And I'm running down the hallway like this. And they check me into a room. And I got up on that bed and they checked me and they said, you're 8.5 centimeters dilated. Let us give you an epidural. And so they got me an epidural quick, fast, and in a hurry. And the minute that epidural hit me, you guys, the pain went away completely. It was just pressure. All I could feel was pressure. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And the whole time in my mind, you guys, the horror, the fear that they were going to take my little boy away from me that day. The fear. That's all I could think about the whole time I was trying to give birth to my son. The whole time, all I could think about was, they're going to take him from me. They're going to take him from me. They're going to take him from me. I'm not going to get to go home with my son. They're going to take him from me. I couldn't even enjoy my own pregnancy or delivery because I was fucking high on drugs. So, I remember Neil being there and my mother-in-law was there and my father-in-law was there and my mom was there. And they were helping me and they were coaching me. And I was pushing and I was pushing. And I remember my mom was pushing and she was saying, it's okay, Nichole, just push. And I was pushing, but she was counting so slow. I said, you're fucking counting backwards. I was getting so frustrated with her, And so it was probably a good 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. And all of a sudden, I stopped being able to feel my legs. They gave me they gave me more of the epidural or medicine in the IV, and I couldn't feel my legs. And so I was trying to push, and the doctor looked at me and he said, I've never seen this happen, but you're sucking the baby back in. Let's take a break. And so we took a 30-minute break. Everybody went and got something to drink. I got myself together. I started trying to focus on, you know what? I'm going to be pushing. I'm going to be pushing. And so they came back after 30 minutes and we got focused. We focused and here it's going down. I'm going to push and this baby's going to come out. So we started pushing. Push! And I had to push all the way through. push, and you can see the vein in my forehead popping out as I'm trying to push and push and then push, and the doctor says, I see his head. And then I pushed again, and his head started coming out. And he said, his head is coming out. And then his shoulders started coming out. And then all of a sudden, when those shoulders came out, he was like, okay, Nichole. And I was pushing my legs against them. And my husband was right there. And they were like, push, Nichole. Come on, push, Nichole. And when I said, push. And I could just feel it go, brrr, and push. And then, pop.
Baby, pop out a vagina hole.
That's right. And that's my son. Then all of a sudden, pop, he popped right out. And when he popped out, you guys, I was just like, oh my gosh, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay?
That's my baby.
And they cleaned out his mouth, and all of a sudden, I heard him start crying.
That's my baby brother.
Do you want to? No, you don't have a baby brother. Nate, stop. You want to say hi? Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. It's that little firecracker. And so they cleaned his mouth out, and I heard him start crying, you guys, and I just knew. I was like, Nate, will you go upstairs, please, son? I can't be having you listening to the story, okay, buddy?
Well, don't talk.
What do you need?
What do you need?
You just ate a whole thing of spaghetti, son. What can I do for you?
I want...
Why don't you get a yogurt or an applesauce? Okay?
Applesauce.
Okay, here you go. You want 1 or 2?
40.
40. Okay, here you go, 40.
That means 1.
Love you too, bye.
Your pee-pee head.
Love you too, bye.
You too, head.
And so, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I heard him crying, and I was like, I could relax because I knew that he was alive. Because in my mind, all I could think about was, he's not going to be okay. He's going to be dead. Or he's going to be disabled, or something bad's going to happen, right? And so they cleaned him up, and they did the whole APGAR scores and all that kind of stuff. And then they handed him to me, and I got to hold him, and I got to look at him, and it was like automatic. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew that I needed to breastfeed that baby, get him some good milk in him, get him all healthy, right? And it was like automatic, you guys. I had fallen in love. I never knew that I could feel love like I felt for my child. And at that very moment, I knew God had performed a miracle in my life. Now, I'm not a very religious person. I'm not like, I believe in God. My mom and dad raised me in a very religious household, in a what's it called? Pentecostal church. And so I believe in God, okay? But I had lost my connection. I had lost my connection with God because of my addiction. Hold on. My dog's got to go out pee-pee. I had lost my connection with God and my higher power because of my addiction. And so I thought that God had turned his back on me. I thought that God didn't love me anymore. I thought that God hated me. But really what it was that I turned my back on God. And I was choosing drugs instead of him. And that's what had happened. But for some reason, after all that time I had turned my back on God, he came there that night and he delivered my son perfectly. And when I tell you perfect, this is what I mean. My son's APGAR scores were perfect. He had no drugs in his system at all. He was completely unscathed from my 9-month-long meth shooting while he was in my stomach. As you can see, he's smart as a whip. Most beautiful boy you'll ever meet in your whole entire life. But when I tell you guys, there's no other way to explain it. I used my whole pregnancy. There's no other way to explain the fact that the hospital never turned me in the whole time I was getting my prenatal care. There's no way to explain the fact that my son was born perfect with nothing. He's smart as a whip. He reads at a 3rd grade level and he's only in 1st grade. He is so smart. He's so beautiful. He's so kind. He's amazing. He is everything. He saved my life. My son saved my life. So they gave me my little boy and they were stitching me up and all that stuff. So I had to stay there for 2 nights because I was healing. And they were just monitoring us and making sure that we were healthy. And then we got to go home. All I could think about was, they're going to take him from me. They're going to take him from me. They're going to call me. Literally, I went home and I was like, I just know it. They're going to call me and they're going to take him. They're going to send CPS over here and they're going to take him, right? For the next 3 months, I white-knuckled it. I was like, I am not going back to drugs. I am staying sober no matter what. No matter what. And for 3 months, I breastfed. I learned how to change diapers. I bonded with my son. I loved him. I took care of him. I bathed him. Everything, you guys. Everything. My mom taught me how to do everything. Nathaniel was such a good baby. He didn't cry a lot. He wasn't fussy or colicky. He was just so chill. He was just such a happy baby. Such a good baby. Had no problems, nothing at all. At 3 months sober, I relapsed and I went off my rocker. Right before I relapsed, I had went to the doctor because I was struggling really bad with postpartum depression. And so the doctor had put me on Lexapro. But that Lexapro, I don't know if it didn't work or what, but I just went off the deep end and I relapsed. And when I relapsed, I started to leave my son at my mother and father-in-law's house. Now, at the time, my parents, my mother and father-in-law, we were all living in this house because their house was being built. They bought a new house. And so I was leaving my son with my mother-in-law. And my husband was working. So I was just hitting the streets. And I relapsed and I went back on the needle. And my husband shortly after relapsed also. And so for the next year, the next year, me and my husband were back and forth. Relapse, get sober. Relapse, get sober. Relapse, get sober. And let me just tell you guys something. When I think about this, I just want to punch myself in the fucking face just thinking about it. Because I had this beautiful gift from God. And I couldn't even see that. I couldn't even see it. And so I was leaving. I was going and shooting meth. I was shooting oxys. I was smoking crack. I was staying gone for nights and nights on end. And one night, me and my friend Tara, remember her? The girl that I told you was with me for my birth and everything? We had an argument because she owed me some money. And she looked at me and she said, I'm going to call CPS on you. And I said, bitch, you won't call CPS on me. I could call CPS on you. Right? Boy, was I fucking wrong. Boy, was I wrong. She called CPS on me and she told them verbatim, Nichole leaves her son in shitty diapers all day long while she is getting high and smoking methamphetamine and crack cocaine in the same room as her son. She has dirty clothes and doesn't change his clothes. All these lies, okay? Lies. Yes, I was getting high, but I was leaving my son with my mother-in-law. And that's why I was being such a shitty person, because I wasn't even being present. You know what I mean? But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Okay? I was using drugs. It doesn't matter. No excuses. And so CPS came to my house. Well, I had just gotten a job. I was trying to move in the right direction. I was trying to make changes. I was trying to do things differently. And so I had just gotten a job as the manager at McDonald's. And you guys, I've always gotten really good jobs, like as in management jobs. I know McDonald's isn't a great job, but like a manager position. And so I was really excited to start this new job. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get sober. I'm going to change my life. Everything's going to be okay. Well, CPS came by and I wasn't home. So they came by again and again. And 3 times they came by. Well, eventually they left a note on my door and then called my phone. Well, when they called my phone, I said, hello. And she said, is this Nicole? DeMeo. That was my maiden name was DeMeo. I said, this is she. She said, this is the Department of Human Services, Child and Human Services. And right then when she said that shit, my heart went and dropped down to the floor, crashed. I knew exactly what the fuck was up. I knew that they were coming to take my son. I said, why? Well, what do y'all want? What's going on? We need you to come up here to the office and we need you to bring your child with you. And so I called my father-in-law and I told him what was going on, and we went up there. We went up there and they asked me to take a drug screen, and I took it, and I failed for benzos and opiates. So I didn't have any meth in my system. Now here in the South, meth is rampant, and so they had this like rule in place at this time, this is 6 years ago, that if you failed for meth, they automatically removed your kids. Well, I didn't fail for meth, so the lady said, you know what, you can go home, but we will be by tomorrow, and we're going to drug test your husband, fiance, and we're going to check the house that you live in to make sure it is a livable, fit situation. I was like, okay, that's nothing but a thing. Like, my house is nice. I got a big house. I live with my mother and father-in-law. It'll be fine. Only thing I was worried was Neil was going to fail his drug test, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. He can fail his drug test, but we can do this. We'll turn it around. We'll get better. Everything will be all right. Nate can stay here. We'll get sober. We'll take drug tests. We'll go to parenting classes. Whatever you need us to do, we'll do it, right? We'll do it. Well, they came over the next day and they tested my husband. They looked at the house. Everything was fine here. Only thing was that my husband also failed for benzos and opiates. And they were like, we're going to put a order of protection in, and then, you know, you'll need to go to parenting classes. We're going to need you to go to treatment, Nichole, and we need proof of all this, right? I was like, okay. Well, oh, shit. I was like, okay, you know what? We can do that. Well, then they came back the next day, and they said, never mind. We're taking your son. We're removing your son from your care. And I remember I was devastated, dude. I was just bawling. And I looked at them and I said, man, fuck this shit. I'm going to treatment right fucking now. And I got on the phone and I started calling every fucking place I could think of. Every fucking place. And I called Quapaw House Detox Center on Enmar in Southwest Little Rock. And I said, can y'all take me? How much do I need to give you? And they said, $100. And I said, okay, this is the kind of insurance I need. You sure all I need is $100? That's it. And I went, I packed my little boy's stuff. This is fucking shit. I packed my son's clothes. I packed diapers. I packed his favorite little stuffed animal thingy that he would play with. Because you guys, it was 2 days before my son's first birthday. It was July 2nd, 2015, when they took my little boy from me. I packed his stuff. I drove up to the office, and I remember handing him over to this complete stranger. And I looked at her, and I said, please take me to detox. Please, somebody take me to detox. Just anybody, just take me. Just take me to detox. If I don't go now, I'll never go. And so my caseworker said, it's okay, I'll take her. And I jumped in the car with my caseworker, and we rode over to the detox, and she dropped me off. I remember walking in there, and I looked, and it was April, this lady that used to work at the treatment center I went to when I first moved to Little Rock. And so I seen a familiar face, and she said, Nichole, what's going on? Are you okay? And I just broke down, and I was like, I lost my son. They took my son. And just saying that, just saying it, like, when I think back to it, like, I can't even believe it happened, you guys. Because it was one of the things I said I would never, ever, ever let happen. I said I would never get my son taken away. I said I would never use drugs while I was pregnant. I said all these nevers. I said I would never have sex with a guy for drugs. I would never steal. I would never manipulate my mother and father. All these nevers I said I would never, ever do. And guess what? I did every single one of them. Every single one of those, I did them. I did them. You know, the thing about it is, you guys, there's a lot of yets. There's a lot of yets. And if you're somebody who struggles with the disease of addiction, you're going to tell yourself, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do that. And that's what I said. I'm never going to do that. Well, baby, I did every single one of those things. I talked to April and she was like, it's going to be okay. You know, you can do this. You can do this. You've done it before. And she was right. I had been to treatment before. I had been to treatment before 5 other times. I could do this. I had been to prison one time. I can do this. I can do this. So I went into my withdrawal. They gave me 1 Suboxone the first night, half of a Suboxone the second night, and a quarter of a Suboxone the third night, and then nothing. And then I was fine. 6 days went by. I stayed there for 6 days, you guys. 5 days actually, but I was going to get out on a Sunday. And I looked at April and I said, man, you cannot let me out of here on a Sunday. If you let me out of here on a Sunday, I will relapse. I will go straight to the dope man's house. And so they let me stay an extra day. They let me stay an extra day so that way I could go from the detox straight into treatment. My father-in-law came and picked me up on Monday morning, and we went straight from detox straight into residential care. And I remember getting there, you guys, and I was bawling my eyes out, crying so much. And I remember going into my first group, and I will never forget the teacher. She was a counselor. Her name was Miss Rita. And I walked in and I just started crying. I got my son taken away. You know, I love my son. I love my son. And that teacher looked at me and she said, shut up, drama queen. If you loved your son so much, you wouldn't have used drugs while you were pregnant and got him taken away from you. And I sat down and I shut up. She said, you're going to come in here disrupting my group? You can sit down, wait your turn. A mother that loves her son doesn't get high while she's pregnant with her son. A mother who is doing the right thing doesn't use drugs while she's taking care of her kid. And I was pissed when she said that shit to me. I was pissed. Okay? How could she say that to me? She doesn't fucking know me. I do love my son. But you know what? She was hitting me with that fucking reality. She was right. Because I wasn't being a good mother. Because you cannot be a good mother while you're high on drugs. They don't go together. It doesn't work. And she was right. And I needed to hear that. Because I needed to get my ass in line and actually start getting help. So I hated her. I hated her for the first fucking 2 weeks I was there. I managed to fuck up the first 2 weeks I was there. My husband was bringing Xanaxes to me and dropping them off. They caught me. And I ended up, fessing up to everything and ended up pulling out and doing a really good job and getting out of treatment and being on the right foot. I graduated treatment, and instead of going straight to the dope man's house when I got out, my husband came and picked me up from treatment, and I'll never forget it, you guys. I'll never forget it, because we were sitting outside of the treatment center, and we were both crying. I was holding him, he was holding me, and that's when we looked at each other, and we were like, we are going to do whatever it takes to get our little boy back. and we are not going to give up. And that's what we did. We went over beyond. Okay, beyond. Micah, you know I'm proud of you, girl. You guys, I just helped Micah induct onto her maintenance, and so she's kicking ass and taking names. Nathaniel got stuck in a respite home for the first couple of days that he was in care. Luckily, they found an amazing foster care home for him to go to. A young couple who didn't have any kids, and they were only fostering a little girl that was like 4 years old or something like that. And so they had plenty of time. They were young and they were ready to go, right? And so they took over for me where I couldn't. They took care of my son for me while I couldn't take care of my son, while I couldn't love myself. And I am still so grateful to those people. Like, they were amazing. They were amazing. But it didn't start out that easy. It started out kind of shaky because we were trying to get my son to be able to go live with my mother-in-law. And so we petitioned the courts, and my mother and father-in-law filled out all the paperwork, but they denied them because they said they were too old. They were only 65 years old, so they denied them. And I remember being so upset about it. Well, then my husband's sister tried to get custody of my son. And if you guys know anything about my past, my husband's sister, she has a huge resentment towards my husband. And she doesn't talk to him. They don't talk. They don't have a relationship. Our son doesn't even see them. Nothing. We don't even see them we don't get together with them at holidays. Nothing. Okay? And so when she was trying to get custody of my son, I said, hell to the no. Because what would happen is she would get custody of my son, and because of her disdain for her brother, she would try to keep my son from me. And so this is how bad it was. I would rather my son go to foster care than to be with his aunt, with my sister-in-law. Because that is how bad the relationship between my sister-in-law and my husband is. It is bad. So it started out kind of rocky, but once he got situated at that house, you guys, it was all gravy, baby, all uphill from there. Now, me and my husband did get on medication-assisted treatment, which is Suboxone. We were actually recommended to get on it by our caseworker. I had never gotten on it before, so I didn't know, but my husband had been on it previously, trying to get sober way before he met me. And so he said, I'm going to do it. You know, he did it before I did. And then I waited a little bit, and I was mad at him because I was like, man, is this really going to work? I was mad. I was skeptical. I was judgmental. I thought, that's not really recovery, right? You shouldn't be doing that. But I was desperate, and I needed help because I had never stayed sober longer than 6 months, you guys. My whole 6 to 9 months, my whole time, I had been back and forth, trying to get sober. And when I had snuck them Xanaxes in at the treatment center, my caseworker sat me down and she said, if you relapse again, we will terminate your rights. And so I said, you know what? I'll try that. I'll try that maintenance medication, sure. So I tried it, and you guys, it saved my life. It saved my life. I will have 6 years sober July 13th. 6 years of continuous sobriety. Okay, I haven't relapsed. I haven't went out and gotten drunk. I haven't went out and shot up a little bit of dope or snooded a little cocaine. Nothing. I'll have 6 years in July. Okay, I have fought tooth and nail every single day to stay sober and to do the right thing. Okay? No, I haven't talked to the foster parents in about 2 years, but I did keep in touch with them for about 3 years afterward. And my little boy got to see them and everything. Now, let me tell you what I did. Because I just didn't get sober and say, okay, I'm sober, giving me my kid back. No, ma'am. I worked my ass off. No free handouts here, baby, okay? I went and got a job. I started working 35 hours a week at Nukes, a little sandwich shop. My son will be 7 in July. My husband got a full-time job, and we started knocking it out. Now remember, I didn't have a car. My husband was our only mode of transportation, but we were making it work. I was going to work. He was going to work. My mother and father-in-law moved out of this house, and it was our house. We made it our house, got my son's room set up, everything, okay? And we're paying the rent, paying our bills, paying car payment. We started doing the damn thing. Boom, 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 boom. Putting one foot in front of the other. When I couldn't get a ride to work, guess what I did? I fucking walked. When I couldn't get a ride to a meeting, guess what I did? I fucking walked. Guess how many meetings I went to? 3 meetings a week, and I talked to my sponsor every single day, okay? When I first started my recovery, I got right into the middle of AA. Now, I was a person who was a junkie. I was on drugs, right? But I needed solid support. I needed hardcore sobriety. I needed people that had been sober for like 60 years. You know what I'm saying? So I found this little old lady that had been sober for like 10 years. And then once me and her stopped working together, I found another little old lady that had been sober for 31 years. Okay? And I just listened to everything they told me to do. They told me what to do. They told me, open a bank account, start a savings account, brush your hair like this, put your shoes on like this. I listened to what they told me to do because I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to write a check. I didn't know how to change my oil. I couldn't do nothing, okay? Nothing. And so I worked my ass off. I memorized all the 12 steps. I started going to therapy. And I started talking about, why was I using drugs? Why was I using drugs? Why did I get high? What was wrong? Why was I using? What was wrong? Why? I had a great life. I grew up in a great household. I have a great family. Why was I using drugs? What was wrong? Inside of me, ever since I can remember, ever since I was a little girl, I can remember thinking, I'm not like everyone else. I don't feel like everyone else. What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I can remember being in 1st or 2nd grade and feeling like everyone looks better than me. All the girls are more pretty than me. Why am I not like them? Why am I not like them? You know? And the thing was, you guys, it was a hole in my soul. It was an insecurity in me. It was my addiction inside of me already. Before I had ever taken a drink or a drug, I had the disease of addiction in me. I had a malady, a spiritual sickness within me, okay? I had this hole in my soul, okay? A hole in my soul. I don't know why I felt like that. I wish I could tell you why I felt like that, but it wasn't anything my family did. It wasn't anything anybody did to hurt me. Sure, I've gone through some bad things in my life, but it was nothing that anybody did to me. This is the way I was born. I was born like that. And so whenever I found substances, whether it had been diet pills, because I can remember being 14 years old and buying No-Dos and Mini-Thins, because back then, they actually had ephedrine in them. And that's how it all started. It all started out because I was insecure. I was a little bit overweight. Not a lot. Now I'm overweight. But back then, I was skinny as fuck. I don't know why I was tripping. But I felt so ugly. I felt so fat. I felt so lethargic. I needed energy. I wanted to do this. And the summer of 8th grade, I started starving myself. I went to band camp and I started starving myself and eating 1 Snickers bar and a Diet Coke. That's all I ate every day for 60 days. And I lost 50 pounds. And when I went back to school, my 9th grade year, everybody at school noticed me. Hey, Tammy, is that you, girl? Everybody in the school remembered, that's Nichole. Wow, she looks great. Holy shit. You know what I mean? And people started praising me and saying how great I looked and how pretty I looked. And wow, they were so happy to see that I had gotten the weight off, right? And that made me feel good. It made me feel important. It made me feel special. It made me feel beautiful. It made me feel beautiful. And so that is how my addiction all began. It all started out, you know, with insecurity, low self-esteem, low self-worth. And then it just blew up into this huge, just fucking horrible, horrible, horrible sickness for 13 years. You know, it started out, I was just smoking a little bit of weed, drinking a little bit of alcohol, you guys. But I quickly turned over to diet pills, cocaine, methamphetamine. Then the next thing you know, 5 years into it, I started injecting. And once I started injecting with a needle, everything went downhill from there. And that's when shit got real. And that's when shit just started fucking up. I got my felony, I went to prison, and it just snowballed for the next 10 years. Until I gave birth to my son. Until my son got taken away from me. And that's why I tell you guys, my little boy saved my life. I wish I could have gotten sober the day I gave birth to my son. I really wish that I could have stayed sober then. But I didn't. And he had to get taken away from me. But it was just the amount of wake up and get your shit together that I needed to truly change my life. And I thank God every single day that he snapped me out of it. No, I don't have other kids. I just have one little boy. Thank you, Rebecca. I think I should get some hoop earrings too. So what we'll do now, hey Betsy, we'll open up the floor for questions. If you guys have any questions, don't be ashamed. Ask me anything. I don't mind answering questions. If you have anything you need help with, I was only in detox for 6 days. Now, and I'll tell you, so I got my son back. We ended up getting our son back. It took us 1 year. At about 9 or 10 months marks, we were able to have him stay the night with us. Did it only take 60 days to feel better and not be miserable? So Sarah, yes, because I was only taking meth, benzos, and I hadn't been taking a lot of opiates. I did have Roxy's in my system when I went to detox. But I had short-acting opiates in my system. So, honestly, yeah, it was 6 days, and the brunt of the withdrawal was over. Now, I had depression. I had pause. I wasn't 100%, but I felt a lot better. And because I was medically detoxed and I was there, and they were able to give me fluids and, help by giving me Librium and Clonidine, that helped a lot, too. Hey, Athena, thank you. Dollhouse says, I got sober because of my son too. Now I'm addicted to Excedrin for the caffeine, 8 to 10 a day. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry, girl. Have you tried to just cut back on that? It's just caffeine, but still I can imagine it's probably getting to the point where it's not healthy, because doesn't that have Tylenol and stuff in it? You should look into just taking straight caffeine. How do you stay away from the mat stigma? Well, Allison, honestly, girl, I have made it my fucking life's work to fight against the stigma of medication-assisted treatment. Let me share it with you. So in 2016, I had 1 year sober, and I remember being so excited about it, you guys. I was like, hell yeah! And so I asked my sponsor, yo, spons, can I start sharing my story? I got a year sober. And she was like, yeah, you know what? You got a year sober now. You can tell your story. You actually got something to share now. And so she took me to the treatment center that I graduated from. and I got to share my 1-year story with everybody, my recovery story with everybody. And I remember the first time I ever spoke in front of a crowd, there wasn't a dry eye in the place. I was crying, they were crying, we were sobbing our eyes out. And I remember feeling everybody just there, and we were all getting so much out of the message. And then after the meeting, we were all talking, and I thought to myself, I want to do this. I want to help people. I can do this. I can do this. I can stay sober and I can help people. You know what I mean? And so I just tucked that little nugget back in the back of my mind. I went on about my life. Well, in 2017, I had started to watch YouTube, and I had gotten really into just, hey, I could start a YouTube channel and I could share about recovery on it. So I made my first video, and I just posted it, and I didn't think anything about it. But I had signed on to Facebook, and I made a new fresh account, and that's when I found the recovery community on Facebook. And when I fell upon the Facebook recovery community, I thought, this is wonderful. People are sharing their experience, strength, and hope, and they're helping people, and it's online. You don't even have to leave your house, right? And I got so excited. So I joined a bunch of recovery groups, and I got in with all these people, and they were all, we were all helping each other. And then I started my own group. And then I started a small women's meditation group where we would call each other every morning, and we would do a video chat, and we would start the day off on our right foot, right? And that was doing really well. It was growing and growing and growing. And one of the girls said to me, why don't you start going live on Facebook and sharing about your recovery on Facebook? And I thought, that's a fucking good idea. I could do that. I could do that. It's just like going to a meeting and sharing your story. And so I started to do it. And I started to do it authentically and truthfully. And that's when I opened the floodgates for all the judgmental piece of shit motherfuckers in NA and AA to come and judge me, and any other A that they were a part of. I remember it came so fast because I've always just been transparent, because I'm so damn proud of myself, y'all. I've never been in this great of a position in my whole entire life. So I was so happy to share what worked for me and how it changed my life, and the fact that I did combine the 12 steps with medication-assisted treatment and therapy, and I worked that shit to the bone, and I wanted to share that with everybody. But baby, those people on Facebook that were in the recovery community who were bigger recovery advocates with very large platforms, they started making fun of me, dude. Telling me that I wasn't clean, telling me that I wasn't sober, telling me that I had no business sharing my story online. Just basically talking shit about me. And so I left Facebook and I deleted my account. And I thought, fuck that. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. And then all of a sudden I said, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to let those dumb motherfuckers stop you from helping thousands, if not millions of people? And I said, I'm going to make my YouTube, and I'm going to center it around talking about medication-assisted treatment and my experience in helping others. And I did that shit. And ever since that day, I have not stopped. And I will not stop, because there is nobody for us, okay? There's nobody out there that is on medication-assisted treatment, that has a large following, that is talking about how it worked for them and how it saved their life and how it's okay to be on MAT and how there shouldn't be any judgment and how you shouldn't have to be off of it in 10 days, that you can be on it for as long as you want to, because whatever works for you, because not everybody is the same. And so I just started doing it. Passion just flowing out of me, like just, I couldn't help it. It was just like what I needed to do. It was just so natural to me. And I just kept doing that on YouTube and kept doing that on YouTube and kept doing that on YouTube. And then I started meeting people. Then I met Dr. B. Then I met Austin. Then I met my friend Josh from Lockdown 23-in-1. And then they started having me on their channels and giving me a chance to share my story. And it was amazing, you guys. And that's where I said, I'm going to speak out and I'm going to help other people just like me. How old was I when I got clean? 33? I'm 39 now, and I'll have 6 years, so 33. Did I ever talk to my friend again? Yes. So, like I said in the beginning of the story, I worked the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. For 3.5 years, I worked those steps. I've worked them 5 times through, okay? And so I've done several 4 steps, several. And part of it was making my amends list and putting on there who I needed to make amends to, who I thought I would never make amends to, and who I thought I might make amends to. And at the time, I was so angry at her, I put her on the never list. And I went and did all my amends, and she was the last person on that fucking list. Well, one day, I had just gotten a job working for Hallmark, and I was at Kroger. And I walked in, and lo and behold, there she was. And she had tears streaming down her eyes because she already saw me. And I saw her, and I thought, oh, hell no. And I walked over to her, and I hugged her, and I just looked at her, and I said, I forgive you. That's all I said, I forgive you. And she wouldn't admit it that she called him. She still hasn't admitted it to me, you guys. And she doesn't have to. I know the truth. But I forgave her, and I let that shit go. And she still struggles in her active addiction to this day. She'll call me every now and then in a hallucination. And I try to help her the best I can. But, you know. Oh, what was your question, Kelly? Hold on, let me see. Never. Aw, thanks, Athena. Denver, Colorado. Angela, that's awesome, girl. I'm proud of you. Medication-assisted treatment. And here's the thing, you guys. A lot of people are judgmental, but let me explain something to you about medication-assisted treatment. Okay? Every person is different. No, I don't want any more kids. And the pain, the damage that has been done to our brains, each person is different. Some people need medication and some people don't. It just is what it is. Okay? Some people can use it for a short time as a tool or a stepping stone. Some people need that medication to assist them for the rest of their life. And that's okay. That's okay. There should be no judgment or stigma. Also, there's a huge difference between dependence and addiction. When someone is addicted to drugs, they have all the negative side effects. They have the negative consequences. Being addicted to drugs is doing something even though it's hurting and harming you, even though it's causing you negative consequences in your life. Being dependent on a medication is just that, having a physical or physiological dependence to the medication, okay? Totally different than being actively addicted, okay? Where is the best place to contact me? Well, my dears, let me put it here. You can text me on this number right here. This is my text now number, so anybody is welcome to text me on this number. I also would love for you guys to follow me on Real Talk Recovery on Instagram and Real Talk Recovery on YouTube. If every one of you guys would do that, that would be awesome. I upload these videos to my YouTube. So if you missed this video tonight and you didn't get to hear the story and you didn't get a part of the chat, you can catch it on my YouTube channel. When will the people looking for wills, I will... Whitehead, baby, we don't know what you're talking about. Okay? I have no idea what you're talking about. Shannon, what are you talking about, honey? I didn't see what you said. So, if you guys have any more questions, I'm an open book. So, yeah, so I worked really hard, you guys, to get to where I am today. And I have about 7,100 followers over on YouTube, and that's where I started my whole thing was on YouTube. And like I said, the reason why I started was because of the judgment and the backlash that I got. because of being on Suboxone. Hey, Shell, that's awesome. I'm proud of you. Oh, well, you just ignore those people, Whitehead. How long has my husband's been sober? So me and my husband got sober in 2015 together, and he remained sober for 3 years, but then he relapsed. My husband has 90 days sober tomorrow, and I'm really proud of him. I'm just curious what exactly MAT is. How do you not abuse your meds? Okay, it's easy. So MAT, medication-assisted treatment, Suboxone, is a partial opioid agonist, okay? Which means that it reaches a ceiling effect in your brain and doesn't cause any euphoria. And so I've been on the medication for 5 years. And so every morning I wake up, and I'm also tapered really down low. I'm only on 2 milligrams. I was on 12 when I first started out. And it's an amazing, amazing medication that saved my life. It took away my cravings, okay? It literally, no cravings at all, okay? And I am so grateful for this medication. I wish I had started it sooner. I wish I had not been judgmental and closed-minded. And I wish I had started it early on, because I probably would have gotten sober a long time ago. But I was so closed-minded. And you know why I was closed-minded? Yes, my Facebook is Real Talk Recovery with Nichole. Everything is Real Talk Recovery with Nichole. Just type in real_talk_recovery. I was closed-minded because the only way I was taught to recover was through the 12-step abstinent-based recovery. And like I said, I love the 12 steps. I believe in the 12 steps. I've worked the 12 steps for years. But that is not the only way to recover. AA and NA do not have a monopoly on sobriety and recovery. And there are new ways. And there's new technology. And I'm so glad that I opened my heart and my mind and I tried something new, because I had been trying to fit my square ass in the round hole, and it wasn't fitting, baby. And I wasn't getting sober, and I was on my way to the deathbed. And so the moment I tried something different other than AA and NA, I got it. And I've been doing it ever since. And I got it, and I went ahead and did the 12 steps with it. But people only give AA and NA a try, and they keep trying, they keep trying, they keep trying, they keep relapsing and relapsing and relapsing. Well, baby, nowadays, you ain't got a lot of relapses, especially if you're an opiate addict. You're gonna die. You're gonna overdose and die. And so down here in the South, all they teach you is religion and the 12 steps. And baby, that's just not what it's about. That's not working. It's not working for a lot of people. And if it was working for a lot of people, we wouldn't have all these people going in and out of treatment in rehab. Okay? The numbers speak for themselves when it comes to medication-assisted recovery. And it's people's lives are being saved. Yes, Rebecca's from my YouTube, baby. I am the same way. I cannot be in AA because my MAT. So Allison, I'm so sorry that you got shunned by AA, and I want to share with you guys an amazing program that was made specifically for people like us that are utilizing maintenance, and I'll show it to you right now on my computer. So I didn't get shunned from AA in my town because I had an amazing sponsor. But I'll tell you this. The people that live here in Arkansas that are in the sober community, they act like they support medication-assisted treatment, but they don't, because I actually applied to become a peer support specialist here in Arkansas, and you know what they told me? That I wasn't in recovery yet. Cause the last 5 years, I guess I've just been doing nothing. I'm so glad you're on live right now. I have such bad anxiety and I'm trying to avoid smoking. Hey, I'm here for you, babe. Come on in. Oh, I'm sorry, Shannon. You got to get... Shannon, if he's feeding you pills, you need to leave him, because that's not a healthy relationship, honey. You need to get out of there, girl. He's going to kill you. You get overdose, okay? Okay, so here we go. And listen, I understand it's hard when you are in a relationship with somebody, but that's like really not good for you, okay? Okay. Y'all don't pay no attention. Yes, Shelly, yes. This has never been told to me. My rehab did not even bring this up. Oh, wow. See, Cal, if you're struggling to stay sober and you're off of opiates, I'm so proud of you, first of all, that you are staying sober. But let me just explain something to you, that you don't have to struggle and suffer anymore. And there are medications out there that can help you. Vivitrol could be a great option for you since you're already completely off opiates. Vivitrol is a once-a-month injection of naltrexone, and it blocks the effects of opiates. And so that could really help you to stay sober if you needed the extra help. How was I long was I locked up? 90 days in county and a year in prison. Yes, I'm very good with responding. I respond all the time. Kind of struggling with cravings and meetings make me anxious, bad anxiety. Hey girl, I understand. And you know what? That's okay. And you know what? Don't let anyone tell you, oh, don't worry about it. Get your mental health in line. Don't let people make you feel like it's not important. If you're struggling with anxiety, if you're struggling and you're on the fence and you're white knuckling it to stay sober, reach out for help. Go to your doctor and say, I'm an opiate addict. I'm in recovery. Where can I find Vivitrol? Where can I get on Vivitrol or Suboxone or whatever MAT treatment you choose to do, okay? It's up to you. But I would say take your butt to the doctor and get yourself situated. I am in Arkansas. Okay, so yes, Rebecca, I do. Is that crazy? I was in prison for a year. Okay, so now I want to show y'all about Mara, okay? And so this is Mara, Medication Assisted Recovery Anonymous. This is a 12-step recovery program, okay? And so we have online meetings, see? Click for online meetings, okay? And you can go here and it will show you the meeting, what time they are and everything, okay? Zoom. They even have them in real life, you guys. We have our own 12 steps and 12 traditions. It's awesome. I love this. I love it, okay? And it's different. It's not the same as AA because it's just different. We have, our steps are, some of them are a little similar, but for the most part, they're different. And they're different because we don't mention higher power or God in our steps. You'll see, but check it out. I have their link to Mara in my bio also. You know, certified freak 7 days a week. I'm not sure about the cravings part, honestly. Hey, Wicca, I don't know. It's free. I would love for you guys to come to Mara. It's free. It's 100% free, you guys. It's a meeting. It's a meeting. And if you are somewhere where they don't have an in-person meeting and you want to start one, you can start one. All you got to do is email them and they'll send you the paperwork and everything. It's amazing. You guys don't understand like how many resources I have. All you have to do is text me and I will send you the links to our Hangouts chat where we link all the Mara meetings. I'll send you links to our Facebook group, everything. So yeah, let's talk about doing the shot, doing Suboxone, doing methadone. I work my ass off and I'm on medication assisted treatment. Okay. Honestly, blunts, Suboxone is the way I would go. And if you're somebody who is just starting out, getting on the Sublocade shot, would be great, because I wish that I had started out with just getting the Suboxone shot, but I don't even know if it was around, or I didn't know about it, because it's a once a month injection of buprenorphine, and it builds up in your system, and you don't have to take your medicine every single day. And a lot of people are switching to that Suboxone shot, and it has changed their lives. It has made it so much easier for them. It's just great. It's great. A lot of people have a misconception about Suboxone, and they think that, okay, so let me explain something to you guys. No. So the only way Suboxone will cause euphoria is if you're opiate naive, okay? That's the only way. What does opiate naive mean? It means you don't have any opiates in your system. You've never had a tolerance to opiates, okay? When I got on Suboxone, I had 30 days sober from opiates. I got on Suboxone the first 2 or 3 days. I was tired, I was a little loopy, but after that, nothing, no feeling. It's really important that y'all hear me when I say this. Suboxone is a partial opioid agonist, okay? Methadone is a full opioid agonist. There is a difference. There is a difference. There's no feeling produced. I take Suboxone every single day, okay? And I promise you, there's no feeling. The only way a person can abuse Suboxone is if they are skipping their doses. Taking it on Monday, skipping Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then dosing on Friday. Because what that does is it gives the medication time to leave the receptor, and then when you reintroduce the medication, that receptor is empty, has no Suboxone on it, and so it's fresh and new, and that's when that euphoria can be achieved, okay? Taking more than you need will not do anything. Suboxone reaches a ceiling effect in your brain. I could sit here and take 32 milligrams of Suboxone. It's not going to do anything to me. It's not going to make me feel different. It's not going to make me feel high. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When people say that, you guys, they are fucking with their dose, or they're combining benzos or something with it. That's the only way. Or they're shooting it up or snorting or something. But overtaking Suboxone will do nothing to you. Absolutely nothing. Okay? I've actually ran into a couple of people who would overtake their Suboxone, and it was them in their mind overtaking it to get a feeling, but there is no feeling produced at all. At all. So here's the thing, okay? 32 milligrams, you are topped out. Your receptors are totally saturated. But the only way you could get a euphoria is if you were on 2 milligrams and then all of a sudden the next day you took 32. Then yes, because your receptor, the medication has left the receptor and there's only 2 milligrams on there. And then you go and flood it with 32, right? That's the only way. You have to be really messing with your dose and going back and forth. That's why Suboxone works so well for me, because I was the kind of drug addict that would take more and more and more to get higher and higher and higher. I can't do that with Suboxone. That is why I have done so well with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because listen to me, you guys. I know everything there is to know about Suboxone. I work for a Suboxone doctor. I've been on Suboxone for 5 years. Exactly, artsy fartsy. Why would you do that when you're trying to get sober? Well, let me explain it to you. A lot of people, when they get put on Suboxone, they're trying to get sober and they mean well. They want to get sober. But the addiction in our mind, it's still there. Just because I'm getting on my maintenance doesn't mean that my addiction is going to go away. And so I have to learn. I have to learn how to relive my life. I have to learn how to take my medication as prescribed. I have to learn to do the right thing, okay? It's counterproductive if you're abusing your medication and then you're, trying to stay sober. That's not how it works out. And that's what happens to a lot of people if they don't get involved in recovery, if they don't get into therapy, if they don't get into some kind of recovery support group meetings, then that happens a lot. But if we're looking at it from a harm reduction standpoint, I'd rather them being eating Suboxone strips or eating methadone, okay, than be out there shooting fentanyl and dying, okay? And so what we're trying to do is we're just trying to get each person to the next step, so that way they can live life and be free, So I hope that helps you understand. But I heard that I have to be off my subs for a week before I can get the shot. Yep. What do I do for work? I work for Dr. B here on TikTok. I work for his treatment center and his medical office where we treat patients who are either getting on Suboxone or Sublocade or Vivitrol, or they're coming in for medication management to get off benzos, tapering off benzos. I also help people that are coming off the street that have, they need to get harm reduction or they need to get signed up for Medicaid or Medi-Cal. That's what I do. What happened to make me go to jail or prison? It was 2008 and I had just started injecting methamphetamine. I was living with this guy, Nate, and we were manufacturing meth at his house. Well, me and this guy named Pacemaker Quincy, we had just left Nate's house, and we were going over to drop some dope off at this people's house. And we got there, and the Terry twins were there. Well, the Terry twins were known confidential informants in Hot Springs, okay? And so our dumbasses served them some dope, and then we went to leave, and we didn't even make it a mile down the road, and they had set us up. We were surrounded by D-Tech cars, cop cars, everybody. And I got busted with possession of a controlled substance, a Class C felony. I was placed on 3 years probation. The first year I was on probation, I failed every single drug test. They sent me to rehab, and I relapsed. And so when I came back after that relapse, they said, you're going to prison. And they revoked my probation. And that's how I got sent to prison. So I'm so glad that you guys are here asking questions. Like, this is amazing. This makes me so happy. Like, all I want to do, you guys, is help people understand. I want to help educate people. Like, I know there's people out there who they just don't understand addiction, or they just don't understand medication-assisted treatment, right? And so it's not that they don't support you, it's just that they don't know about it. They're not educated on it. And so I'm just trying to help people understand. I want you to see my face. I want you to see me. Like, I'm a person, Losing my son was the hardest thing that ever happened to me in my whole entire life, I have been on Suboxone for 5 years. I started out on the pills at 12 milligrams, and I started tapering in 2019, and I'm currently on 2 milligrams. I'm so glad you found my page too. And honestly, you guys, I might just stay on 1 milligram for the rest of my life because it's a safety blanket for me. It's a safety net. And if you guys knew and understood what I have, I don't want to lose my son. I don't want to relapse. I don't want to die, And I know that I have strong recovery, and I could probably taper off Suboxone and be okay, but then there's little voice in the back of my head that says, what if you're not okay? What if you taper off and relapse? And I think about it all the time. You know what I mean? I think about it all the time. And so I just have to be really, really careful. I'm happy where I'm at today. I'm happy and I feel free and I feel healthy and I feel good, you know? I'm so sorry, Luna. Heck yeah, me too. That's awesome. I'm not addicted. Rita, I'm so glad to have you here. Awesome. Hey, Mama Marley. And here's the thing, you guys. Like, I don't want any of you guys to feel like you have to stay on medication-assisted treatment. I am just being totally transparent with you guys that this helps me and I feel safe. I feel safe. I feel like I'm doing a great job. I feel happy. I feel free. I feel strong. I feel empowered. I feel great. I feel great. You know, I'm working for an amazing treatment center with a boss who fucking kicks ass and takes names. Like, I'm happy. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. You know, sure, I struggle. I have days where I'm down and I get depressed and stuff like that, you know. But for the most part, I feel great. I'm sorry, Marley. See, I don't feel like that, but I guess it's because it's not an anchor for me because I only have to see my doctor once every 90 days. I pass all my drug screens. I do everything I'm supposed to do, so I don't have any issues. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it's just been kind of an easy process. Now, sometimes I think, sometimes I think I want to get off, but then sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I just got to pray about it. You know what I mean? I can go on vacation. I do everything. I go out of town all the time. In fact, we just went out of town to the mountain for my birthday. Then I'm going to California next week. And yeah, I do anything. Oh, thank you, Artsy Fartsy. That's so nice of you to say that. Congratulations, Megan. I'm really proud of you. I'm doing really good, Beth. Thanks for asking. And see, that's the thing about it is, you guys, I've just found what works for me. Like I said, I have a great doctor, and then I also have a great job that I have, that I work for a doctor, you know, and so I have just a really good support system. And, you know, a lot of people get mad at me because I'm happy where I'm at with Suboxone and I'm not like talking shit about it. And a lot of people get mad and they want me to be mad at the medication. And I'm not. It saved my life. It really helped me change my life. It helped me to become stable. You know, yes, I only have to go every 90 days. And so that's why I'm so happy where I'm at. And honestly, you guys, if I had to go every 30 days, I would just do it. I would just go. I used to have to go every 30 days. Thank you. Honestly, you guys, I struggle with my energy. But in the evening times, when I'm here with you guys, like, this is where I shine. This is where I feel good. This is where, like, I feel good because I'm with you guys. I'm sharing my experience, strength, and hope. And it's just, I'm in a good place. You know what I mean? Neil? Yeah. Okay, I didn't know. Sorry. I'm in a good place. I feel like I'm making the right decisions for myself. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, we're going to go downstairs. Then we're going to come up and I'm going to do my face wash and then I'll go to bed. But I hope you guys enjoyed, this little chit chat we had this evening, because I sure did. I had the best time talking with you guys today. Oh, I know they do. Did you see that one guy, you guys, who've just been going off today? I feel like we had a really good turnout for this live stream too, you guys. There was almost 100 of you guys here. Do you know that? almost 100. I couldn't even believe it, man. And you guys, when I'm telling you guys these stories, I'm telling you from my fucking heart, dude. Like, my son saved my life. I cannot explain it to you any more than that. My son changed my life. Okay. Did I wash these dishes? Oh, I haven't even washed the dishes yet. I need to do that. Let me make sure. And I saw some trolls coming in trying to say mean stuff. But you know what? Fuck them, y'all. Fuck them. I mean, you cannot, no troll can hate on me. Because I'm so happy where I'm at today, you know? Oh, yes, I've had my son back for almost 5 years, country gal. Actually, I'm fixing to cut some pictures out with his little face in them. He saved my life, man. We had the best time today, too, y'all. We went... Oh, I need a pair of scissors, I guess. We went to the movie theater. All kinds of fun stuff. Okay. Let me show y'all what my dad made me, y'all. So cute. Has a name on it, Nichole. Isn't that cool? Thank you. Thank you. It was hard work, I'm telling you that right now. It wasn't easy getting them back. They made me work for it. But it had to be like that, you know? It needed to be like that. So that way I would never, ever forget. And I won't. I will never go back to that life, y'all. I will never, ever do that shit again. Never. And I'm super excited because I'm going to be flying to California this week. Oh my God, I'm so nervous now. I'm thinking about it. Oh. Okay. I need a little. So, I'm going to sign off here, you guys. I've been sober for almost 6 years. July will be 6 years, and my husband will be sober for 90 days tomorrow. Hey, hey, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. Hey, hey. Hey, will you mention, will you send it to me on my Facebook Messenger, please, please? I gotta do my makeup. Oh, I gotta wash my face too. Okay. Come on, guys. Let's go wash our faces. That's what we gotta do now. Okay? Okay. My baby boy. He saved my life. Feel the rain on your skin. Yes, I've had my son back for 5 years. Oh, you're mentioning. I figured I was saying it. I thought I was saying it right. Good. I try to sound people's names out because I used to get my name mispronounced all the time when I was a kid, and I hated that. Aw, certified freak, I love you. We're gonna wash our faces and then I'll let y'all go, okay? So that way y'all can go to sleep. I'll show y'all my skincare routine, okay? Alrighty then. Okay. Certified freak. How do I talk to my son about addiction? Honest and open communication, you guys. Honest and open. I don't hide anything from my son. Now, Of course, there's some things that I don't say because they're inappropriate for his age group. But for the most part, I'm very transparent with my little boy because he's very smart and I don't want to lie to him about anything. So, I hope that helps. Okay, we're going to go in with the exfoliate. How many years went by? For 1 year, he was in custody for 1 year. The moment he got taken away, I went into treatment, you guys. I didn't stay home and party or do anything. I went and got help right away. Oh, it's okay. I gotta get a washcloth. Yes, I have my son back now. I've had him back for almost 5 years. And it's fine. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go in with this physical exfoliator. Congratulations, Allison. You know, I'm proud of you, girl. I followed you, Allison. Thank you, Chelsea. When my son got taken away, you guys, I went straight into treatment that day. I did not pass go. I did not collect $200. I went straight and got help because I knew that if I didn't go right away, then I wasn't going to get help. You know what I mean? I had struggled with addiction for 13 years, so I knew what was going on. I knew that I hit rock bottom. And having my little boy taken away from me was rock bottom for me. And it was exactly what I needed to wake up. Was it hard to admit I needed help? No, because I had already been to so many treatment centers. I knew I needed help, you know, but I had been needing help. The hard part was letting people help me and actually listening to what they told me to do. Because, see, my pride and ego would tell me, you don't need help, you're not that bad. No, I don't have any more children. You don't need help, you're okay, Nichole. In all actuality, I was really, really bad off and I needed a lot of help. And so, letting them help me was difficult. But once I started doing that, it all got better. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some. Now I don't have any cotton balls, so I gotta use a little toilet paper. This is the glycolic acid by Ordinary. You guys are so sweet. Yes, Micah, he does. We're trying to get it treated. So did my sister had it too. Me and my sister, oh shitty balls. Me and my sister both had hepatitis C. So, and it's hard, you guys, because that's expensive to get treated. And so you have to have insurance, you know. Now in some states they have programs, and I have to do some research and see if they have that here in Arkansas. I'm not sure. But you guys, my husband is just, he's the best thing that ever happened to me. When we met each other, I was in a bad spot. And I didn't know how to take care of myself. I didn't know how to do anything. And when I met him, he took me under, he helped me so much. Oh, I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys. He helped me a lot. This is my Murad dark spot eraser. And so I put that on this dark spot that I need to get looked at because it could potentially be cancer. Okay, now let's get our serums going. So we're going to take this lactic acid serum and we are going to take that, and then we're going to take this serum right here by Estee Lauder. and we're going to mix them together, okay? And put them on our face. One of the hardest things was getting told that I had hepatitis C, because I thought that it was going to kill me, actually. But I'm so happy that there's a cure and it won't kill you. I mean, it can if you don't treat it, you know, but if you treat it, you'll be okay. And so, Dr. B, the doctor I work for, we were just talking about that tonight in our meeting, because we have resources to help people get on Medi-Cal so they can get their, hepatitis C treated. I have Ariel. Yes, I've had him back for 5 years, actually. And I share my experience with recovery here on my TikTok to help other people. No, Emily, he did not. He actually went into, what he did was he got a therapist, started going to therapy, and yeah, that's what he did. Then, now we're going to use my retinol. Yes, he was. My husband is the same guy. Thank you. Yeah, I've worked really hard, you guys, and really hard to get to where I've gotten. I didn't get any handouts, no shortcuts. I worked my ass off to get my son back and to be the mom I am today. Am I perfect? No. But I love my son, and I would do anything to protect him. And I try to be the best mom I know how to be. And it was hard at first because I didn't know how to be a mom, I didn't know how to be a mom. I didn't know how to be a mom sober. And that was the hard part, because I had really just thought I'm going to get my son back and everything's going to be great, right? And I believed that. And it was great, but it was really hard because, like I said, I didn't know how to be sober. I didn't know how to be a sober mom, And so I've cried with myself to sleep before because I felt guilty, like I wasn't doing a good enough job. And sometimes I'll ask my husband, am I a good mom? And he'll go, yes, you're a great mom. Oh yeah, I'm never going to go back to my drugs. I don't want to do drugs ever again. Like, I've been sober for almost 6 years and I just don't want to go back. Almost 6 years, 5.5 years. And it's important to me, you guys. Like, it's important to me. I stay sober because my sobriety is important to me. It's a priority. I help other people get sober, and that also helps me keep my sobriety at the forefront, okay? It's a daily reminder that I could lose everything if I choose to relapse. And so I stay, like I said, I stay at the front of my sobriety because I don't want to relapse. I don't want to lose everything I've worked so hard for. And here's the thing, you guys, if you're newly sober, we're going to close out. We're going to close out with this, okay? If you're newly sober, I'll tell you this much. Please, please get into some kind of recovery support group program. Do not rest on your laurels. Do not think that you can do it alone, okay? The main spot that I screwed up all those years, okay? Allison, it was hard because I was worried, but it wasn't hard because he wasn't around me. He was doing it behind my back at his job. So I didn't have to see it, you know what I'm saying? But he's been doing so good, and I'm so proud of him. And here's the thing, you guys. Recovery is not linear. People are going to make mistakes. People could relapse, you know. But as long as that person wants to stay sober and has a desire to change their life, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. 90 days. That's all that matters, you guys. Actually, his 90 days is tomorrow. And he's just such a good person, you guys. My husband is a very good person. He has worked really hard to take care of our family for the last 5 years. And so I'm so grateful to have him. He's a good man. And I've been sober for almost 6 years in July. Oh, that's what it's like, Stephanie. It's like waking up a newborn baby. That's exactly what it's like. And that's what I tell people. I say, you need to treat yourself like okay, so if you got 6 months sober, you're a 6-month-old baby. Do you know that I had to learn how to write checks. I had to learn how to start a bank account. I had to learn how to talk to the lady at the register because I felt so awkward all the time. All the time. That's what it was like. And I'm going to tell you guys, the longer I stay sober, the more I struggle with like stuff, like my energy and stuff. And I beat myself up about not getting enough stuff done. But then I think about it and I look back to how far I've came and how I used to be miserable and just struggling, you know? And so it's step by step, one day at a time. Don't give up, okay? No matter what, don't give up on yourself. It's worth it. If you can get sober and stay sober, I promise you guys, you will see the most amazing things taking place in your life. You will see things that you never believed could happen. Do you think that I ever in a million years thought I would be able to work for a treatment center? Do you think I ever thought that they would trust me or want me to help people? I've had my son back for 5 years. Okay? So if I can do that, you can do it. Okay? Now, I just turned 39 years old, so I need to get my old ass in bed. But if you guys enjoyed this live stream, please consider following my YouTube channel, Real Talk Recovery, and my Facebook, Real Talk Recovery, and my Instagram, Real Talk Recovery. And if you want to catch me, you can catch me here live damn near every single night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Love y'all.